Hello guys, welcome back to another episode here on European Confessions. There is a message that I want to share with you guys, and this message, it comes from a translation that was sent to me by one of our dear listeners. So we tried as much as we could to give you this translation. The translation of that story reads like this. Hello Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my story for me? So I have my own story that I want to share with you, and I am hoping that by the time that you are going to post my story on your platform, maybe there is someone who is going to offer me some kind of assistance, because I am going through a lot of pain. My story goes on like this. I grew up as an orphan. What happened to me is that my parents, they got divorced from each other when I was only 2 years old. When they had gotten divorced from each other, by the time when I was 2 years old, my mother then collected me and she went with me and she left me at my auntie's place. This auntie of mine, she was my father's sister. So after my mother had dumped me there by my auntie's house, she then went back to her parents so that she can stay with her parents. After that time, when my mom had dumped me, she didn't even care about me, like coming back to check up on me. And after she had gone back to her parents, that was when I heard that my mother had passed away. After the passing away of my mother, that was when my father decided to get married again to another woman. After my father had gotten married again to another woman, he then passed away. So what happened is that I kept on staying with that auntie of mine who was my father's sister. But life was not easy. Life was just traumatizing, because as I was staying with my auntie, what she didn't know is that her own husband kept on abusing me several times. So when he started abusing me, I didn't understand what was going on, because at that time when he was abusing me, I was only in grade 1. So I was very young to understand what this man was doing to me. I thought that everything that he was doing to me was normal. So what would happen is that whenever I would tell my auntie that this is what her husband was doing to me, then my auntie will say that I should not tell anyone, because everything that he was doing to me was supposed to be a secret. So I remained quiet, my brother. From grade 1, that man kept on abusing me several times until I was in grade 6. So when I was in grade 6, when that man kept on abusing me, now I could understand that the things that he was doing to me, there were things that were very wrong. That was when I would refuse. Whenever that man who was my auntie's husband would come so that he can abuse me, what I'll do is that I would run away, or I would refuse whatever he wanted to do on me. I stayed with my auntie until I had set for my grade 7 exams. After I had set for my grade 7 exams, that was when my auntie and her husband, that same man who had been abusing me ever since I was grade 1, told me that they didn't have any money. They could not afford to send me to school anymore. Life was very hard, simply because I didn't have anyone who was willing to take me to school. I just stayed at home, whilst other children that I grew up with kept on going to school. When I was staying with my auntie, things were very difficult for me, because I was not even allowed to visit any of my relatives. What my auntie would do is that when any of my relatives would come, and if they would tell my auntie that they want to take me back with them back to their house, then my auntie will say that I am a child who does not have any discipline, and if I would go with them, I was going to give them a lot of trouble. Life continued like that, Brother Nashi, without any hope in my life. I didn't even know any any of my mother's relative. There was this other year when we heard that one of my mother's younger sister, she had been going around looking for me. So when my auntie heard that my mom's younger sister had been looking for me, she then said that now your mother's relatives are looking for you. So I want you to take you back to the village where your mom comes from. And that was what happened. She went with me back to my mother's village from where she grew up in. I then started staying with my mom's younger sister. When I started staying with my mom's younger sister, life was really good. But by the time that we visited my grandmother, from the very first day that she saw me, she was really happy to see me, because at that time I was now 27 years old when I started staying with my grandmother. But if one thinks that living with my auntie was really bad, when I started staying with my grandmother, I can say that life was really terrible. What used to happen is that this grandmother of mine, all that she wanted from me was to date a lot of men. She knew that by me dating a lot of men, then those men would end up giving me money so that I can give her the money. That is all that she wanted from me. It was like I was a commodity to her, which she could sell at all the time. So seeing that the situation that I was now finding myself in was a hopeless situation, I then moved from the villages and I went into the capital city of Harare. When I was in the capital city of Harare, that was when I came across this other man. After he had proposed love to me, I then agreed to marry him, and we then stayed married for 5 years. But my brother, for those 5 years that I stayed with this man who wanted to be my husband, I felt to give him a baby. So after I had stayed with that man for 5 years, we felt to have a baby together. That was when me and that man got separated from each other. I then found another man who was willing to love me and to marry me. Right now, from the moment that I got into this marriage with the man that I am currently staying with, we now have 12 years staying together. But Brother Nashi, what I can tell you is that in these 12 years of marriage, we have tried to have a baby, but we have failed to have a baby. I am in a lot of pain with the kind of a life that I had. Right now, I am 39 years old. Whenever I'll be dreaming, I'll always see that I'll be having sexual intercourse with a kind of a creature that I cannot even recognize. This dream keeps on coming back to me over and over again, as if I was dedicated to a spiritual husband. I have suffered so much, Brother Nashi. All that I want in this world is to have a baby. That auntie of mine and that man who used to abuse me, those ones that I used to stay with when I was still young, they all passed away. I have told all of my relatives about this spiritual husband that keeps on having intercourse with me at night. So when I told my relatives, they then said to me, "You are very lazy. You are supposed to pray, and after you have prayed, all of your troubles will go away." Some of my relatives, what they said to me is that "Ukachwaka makudo mkomo unoa wana." It is a Shona proverb that says, if one climbs up a mountain in search of baboon, you are going to find those baboons that you'll be searching for. So Brother Nashi, please help me so that I can have a baby. That is all that I want. This story of mine, it is quite a very long story, so I just tried to shorten it as much as I could. And all of my relatives, it doesn't matter if that relative is from my father's side or from my mother's side, all of them, they do not love me. Why they hate me, I do not even know. They only love me, Brother Nashi, if they want me to send them money. And if it is not about the money, you will see that these people, they do not love you at all. It is like we are only related to each other if there are issues concerning me sending them any money. But my brother, I have visited a lot of people who said that they could assist me, but all the people that I have visited, they have scammed me Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear sister, and we tried as much as we could to give you that translation. She then sent me a message and she said, Brother Nashi, life is very difficult. I have wasted a lot of money visiting a lot of people that claimed that they could help me. I have wasted a lot of money visiting a lot of hospitals, thinking that everything is going to work out. And whenever I go to a hospital, after running some tests on me, the results will come back saying that I am a woman who is okay, who is able to give birth, but I do not know why I can't have a baby.